Okay, it's 7:42, and I'm calling to order the Fair Rent Commission meeting for the month of February, and we do have a quorum present. That's not what I want right now. The first item on agenda is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting of January 3rd, 2024. So, see if I can you see that?
It's loading.
It's
There we
low.
go.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Have you had an opportunity to look over the minutes? Okay, we'll go through page 1.
Before you do that, I see the attendees were John Church, you, Dora Witherspoon, Lunice Constant, Peter Halliday. So I only see two people here to approve two people who were at the meeting to approve the minutes. Have you approved minutes in the past where you don't have 4 people to do it?
I can't recall that. I think as long as we have someone who attended that meeting present
Okay.
at this meeting.
If that's what your rules, that's fine. I have no problem. I just wanted to
Well,
bring it.
I'm not saying that those are the rules, but I'm just
Okay.
saying that I don't recall it. Do you, Sonia?
I don't think everybody has to be present. As long as, I think Fran is correct, as long as there's people here that did attend, because even though we did not attend, it's my understanding that we could still approve the minutes to be passed.
If you didn't attend the meeting, I don't think you can vote on the
No,
minutes.
that's correct. You still
That,
can.
you can
That
still,
is correct.
yes, you can
Look
still
at
vote to
Robert's
approve the
Look
minutes.
at Robert Rules of Order.
Exactly.
All right. That's fine. I just want to make sure you're doing it right. That's okay.
Okay. Of the members that attended, Lunice and myself, are there any corrections? And everybody else, if there are any grammar or punctuation corrections that need to be made, or names misspelled or noted incorrectly, please note that, and we'll have that change. But are there any changes or on page 1?
I don't see anything.
Okay. Page 2. Yeah, I didn't write down who all did these motions and seconds, so I'm just going to assume that they're all correct. Okay, page 3.
Hmm.
And page 4. Okay, if there are no corrections, I receive a motion to accept the minutes as submitted. Hello? Did somebody make a motion for
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as presented.
okay.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved in second to approve the minutes as submitted. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposers? Abstentions? Okay, the minutes are approved. Our next item is the chair's report. The chair is absent this evening, and the acting chair, has no report. And so our next item will be the coordinator's report.
Good evening, everyone. from the coordinator's report, the traffic has been picking up in the fair rent office here at City Hall. Over the last, from the beginning of the year, I've been able to assist about 50 families in just a little over 30 days. I'm having a lot more agencies throw my name around, Norwood Housing Authority. Every time somebody comes in with questions with regards to landlord tenants, my name, it's suggested as a point of contact to help and assist. I do understand that a lot of the questions and concerns that these tenants have are not directly related to fair rent issues, but I do take time away from my business schedule to explain to them the issues such as Section 8, subsidized housing, some documents, how to go about submitting paperwork in a timely manner, how to navigate evictions, how to avoid getting to an eviction, and keeping your lines of communication open with your landlords. Additionally, I have landlords who also call in and ask about rental increases and how much they could increase rent and whatnot. So I provide information of, as far as it goes for the Fair Rent Commission and how to try to avoid having to step in front of the commission and how to keep the properties in good standing and avoid any issues with the health department and stuff with repair issues. So I do a lot more than just fair rent. I provide a lot of assistance, and the fact that I am bilingual, I want to say that maybe 50% of the traffic that comes in here, it's people who do not speak English, and whether they're legal or illegal immigrants, I provide the same information for all. That's all I have from my report.
All right, thank you, Carlos. I got a question. You said you had landlords calling. Is this a new trend?
No, well, it's picked up because now that they have someone who they can ask questions before they take action, especially doing initial contracts or lease renewals, they want to make sure that their name is not thrown around in front of the Fair Rent Commission. So they're trying to avoid making mistakes and doing the right thing for the local laws, bylaws, and the Connecticut General Statutes.
So are these landlords of private units or the big apartment units?
90% private units. A lot of the landlords have been doing this for a long time, so they know the process. Some of the landlords are fairly new and they're learning as they go. They're making mistakes, but that's what I'm here for, to try to assist them in not making any more mistakes.
Okay. Are there any other questions from any of the other commissioners regarding the coordinator's report?
So Carlos, you say you do other stuff other than fair rent. What are the other things?
Well, people come in with a lot of Section 8 questions, so they have issues where they don't get, unfortunately, the Norwood Housing Authority and the Danbury Housing Authority, which I deal with a lot, and the Waterbury Housing Authority, they provide very minimal information to their tenants, and it's very short and dry. And I go above and beyond to making phone calls all the way up to HUD to try to resolve and get answers that, one, they could easily go and find it themselves. If they don't have the capabilities or the technology to do so, I usually do that. So I try to do my research, dig in the information, and I provide that information.
So is this a function that the housing authority is supposed to do?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at, because I'm the chair of the housing authority and I don't know. Go ahead, put the other one up. And I'm not understanding what you're doing. I'm not.
It's sometimes it could be a barrier in the language, but I do understand that they have translators at Norwood Housing Authority, but I have noticed on instances where some of the information is communicated, and then when I call, as a city employee and as a city hall employee, they give me information that hasn't been provided to the tenants, and I provide that information to the tenants, and they usually come back and tell me, well, she never told me that. That was never communicated to me. So there's either a language barrier or it's not being communicated properly. So
So I'm sorry, but you have to, for me, that's not your job. You should contact the housing authorities and tell them what these people, what they're not doing. Okay? Because that's really not your job. Your job is to make sure that their rents are fair and, and that we do that. I don't know what else, I don't know what's in your job description, but be a liaison for the housing authority is really not what you're supposed to be doing.
I agree with that, because I'm just wondering, with all of this time that it's taken to make these informational communications to these people who don't understand or didn't get the information, that's taking your time away from what needs to be done for fair rent. And it's going to get to be a problem.
I've communicated my concerns to the director of operations at Norwalk Housing Authority, and she said that, well, she first asked me, really? And I said, yes. And she said, well, that's not how we normally do business. And I said, I know. So maybe they should have some sort of internal discussion.
So maybe the way to approach it right now and get this thing bubbled up and off of your plate is, instead of you taking the initiative and taking the whole thing and running with it, do a bridge and conference the person in with housing authority, and and let them get the information, and just let the person know to follow up with you to let you know if they got satisfaction from them. If people are and I know this to be true from times that I had to deal with Norwalk Housing Authority when I was trying to help someone. They give half information to the clients a lot of times. And it doesn't matter if they're speaking plain English or if they're not speaking clear English. It all depends on how the person is feeling that day. Is the only thing that I can attribute it to. But in order to free your time up so that you're not doing things that's not part of your job description, bridge them together and then drop off the call.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent suggestion, Sonia.
Thanks.
Brenda, are you aware of this issue with the housing authority?
No, I'm not. And here's the thing too. We have Spanish speaking, Creole speaking people down there. So I'm not understanding why they want to use Carlos to be their personal whatever to get stuff done.
Because he probably
they
has a
have-
better attitude than they have, and I'm speaking from my own experiences dealing with them. He probably has a better attitude than they have, and he shows that he cares.
Well, if Carlos, let me say this, as the chairman of the housing authority, if you are not getting satisfaction from them, call me and we will do it together.
I think that's an excellent suggestion, because what may happen is that you spend so much time doing that, when it comes time to evaluate our program, they may feel that we don't need you full time or whatever, because most of your time, or X number amount of your time, has been spent doing housing authority business.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
and we
I
cannot afford to have that to happen.
I will be very honest, it's very frustrating sometimes when I see the same individual, same family come back, not getting anywhere with, X agency. And it only takes for me an email sometimes try for weeks to get.
Well, maybe, perhaps you and Brenda can get together and discuss that and see a way through so that people can be served. Because that, that's our really main objective with the Housing Authority and with Fair Rent Commission, is to make sure that the clients are served well.
Correct.
And if that's not being done, find out why not.
Right, and also, you have those navigators there. They should be doing that work, not you. You got those navigators here, but I tell you, you give me a call and I'll make sure that they are doing the right thing for your clients.
I engage the navigators daily, yes, but next time something like that pops up, I'm gonna call you, Brenda, and just explain to
Anytime,
you.
you have my number anytime, and I will call Adam right away, okay?
Yes, okay, I
Yeah,
got
and
it. Thank
Carlos,
you.
don't be afraid to tell her who the people spoke with that didn't help them, because those people have to be, put to task and said, hey, I'm getting a lot of complaints about you not giving people information. That's the only way we're going to alleviate this problem.
Because that's what they're hired to do, is to give.
Exactly.
And just because they got up on the wrong side of the bed, or this person had come back 3 or 4 times because they don't understand, it maybe they're just hard to understand. And you can't,
Exactly.
I mean, it's your job to make sure that that information is passed on in a way in which it can be useful to the client.
Exactly.
Okay. Are there any more discussion on that? Okay, our next item is to review, discuss, and have motions on open cases. And I'm going to turn this over to Attorney Russell Liskoff.
Good evening, everybody. Russell Liskov here. I wanted to go over these with you. It won't take too long. The first matter I have before you is 1831-23, 8 Union Avenue, apartment B3. The landlord wanted a rent increase from $959.50 to $1,500. We have worked the numbers with the landlord to a point. We're having a problem with the tenant getting back to us. The tenant has certain issues and capacity issues, and she has an attorney in New York who's her cousin. The cousin in New York has not been getting back to us. So we're continuing on. Carlos has been sending him out emails and he's been sending him out correspondence, but he's not getting back to us. We've left messages on his phone as well. I think I'm gonna talk to Carlos this week and say, Carlos, either they have to call us back, or next time we're gonna ask that the case be closed, because we can't have people who are not cooperative. They have to, if we're gonna do what we need to do for these people, they need to cooperate with us. So for this month, I would recommend we take no action, but I just wanted to alert the board that unless they communicate with us, I don't know what else we can do for these people. And the landlord is getting frustrated as well, and he's gonna want a hearing. And either we give them a hearing and the claimant doesn't show up or is not able to show up, or we close the case, one or the other. So give us one more month on this matter, and hopefully we'll be able to move it along. So I'd recommend that you take no action this month.
Motion to take no action.
I second.
Okay, that's Lenise and Sonia.
Sonia made the motion, Lenise second.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we've voted and it's passed that we will take no action, but I got a question.
Yes.
On February the 2nd, it says that an email was received from David about a senior housing application submitted to Norwalk Housing Authority. And Mr. Dunn, what's that? Is that pertinent to this complaint?
I think Carlos put it there just to let you know that we're working on it, and there may be a way out for this lady to go to someplace else where she can afford to live as opposed to the rents. So these cases take multiple avenues. That's one potential avenue for this lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but where that, why, okay, I'm not understanding this. Why do we have this on here as a case?
Because the lady filed a complaint.
Correct.
But she filed what kind of complaint?
Fair rent
Rental
complaint.
increase.
About
I
the
mean,
rent
Rent
increase.
increase,
But, huh?
a rent increase.
Oh, this is the same lady
Right.
that, and she said Norfolk Housing Authority and missing documents that they still need to submit.
Because she's looking to possibly move out of the place altogether.
Correct, correct. As I said, these cases take several routes. Sometimes the tenant moves out of state. Sometimes we can enter into a new lease agreement with the landlord.
But-
Sometimes the tenant finds a new home. Some, you know, there's a lot of roads that lead to Rome.
So during this month,
So she's filed a complaint because the rent increase that the landlord is proposing is too high. So she filed a complaint. But in the meantime, she's also looking for a way to move out of this place altogether while she does still have this case pending.
Exactly.
Okay, so she lives on Union Avenue.
Right.
Okay, and then I would see, okay, I got Miss Lee. I was trying to help Sissy get on. Then I got Miss, okay, all right.
okay. All right.
All right, the next
You
matter.
okay, Brenda?
Yeah, I'm okay, cause I'm like,
Oh.
no, I got it, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, the next matter is 1837-23, 18 Ferris Avenue, Unit 11. The landlord wants a $700, the tenant was paying $700 a month. The landlord wants to go up to $1,000. This was a building where we had 5 complaints in it. We've solved 4 of them. This is the last one. There were repairs being done. The tenant is ready to sign the new lease. The repairs have been completed. Next month, we will have this matter done for you. So this month, though, I ask you to take no action.
Motion to take no action.
Second,
Okay. Was moved by Sonia and second by Brenda Penn Williams to take no action on 1837-23. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The ayes have it. I got a question on this one too.
Yes,
And this, the Carlos, you were the one that went and conducted the physical inspection.
That is correct.
Okay, now, how did you determine that those repairs were done by licensed journeyman? Because in the past, when repairs had to be made, they had to be made by someone who was licensed for whatever the particular repair was. And did you see completion invoices or ledgers?
So the only repairs that needed to be done were there was a lock for a window that was broken, so they just replaced the lock. The stove was not working, so they completely replaced the stove for a new one. There was a light fixture that was cracked, and they just replaced the cracked glass around
the
it.
globe, right,
And the other one is the paint job. They're painting in the bathroom and in the kitchen area. So there were not extensive repairs, but
Right,
they
I
were
think
just,
that license thing only refers to plumbing and electrical, if I'm correct.
Yeah, but it doesn't specify or doesn't
What the
say
repairs
what
were.
the repairs were. And
Right.
I just wanted to know for my information, how did you come to the conclusion rather than just physical inspection?
Right.
Was there any paperwork to go with that? And were these people licensed? Were they professionals, or was it cousin Joe down the street that did it? But
there were minor repairs.
okay.
There were minor
right. These
repairs,
these
not
were these
major
were not
repairs.
these were not trade repairs. These were cosmetic
Okay,
cosmetics.
so I didn't know that from what I read in the report. All right, thank you.
All right, the next matter is 1838-23, 98 Richards Avenue, apartment 102. The landlord wants the rent to increase from $1,859 a month to $2,000 a month. this matter is great, but it's also troubling. We did great work for this tenant. They entered into a new lease with the landlord. Everything was done to their satisfaction. Everything was very happy. Carlos has spent a lot of time asking for the withdrawal because that's the final little bow to tie up the little package. The tenant, the claimant, has gone radio silent. She's not returning his calls. She's not returning his emails. She got what she needed, and now she's ghosting us. So I'm recommending that we close this case because there's nothing left for us to do. And Carlos, if you want to tell them what you've done to try and get this lady to send you the withdrawal of the complaint, feel free to do so.
I'll make a motion to close the case if she's not responding.
I second.
Okay, it has been moved by Sonia Oliver and seconded by Brenda Penn Williams to close the case. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
all right, it is, we will close the case.
Thank you. The next matter is 1839-23, pretty new file. The landlord wants the rent to go from $1,000 to $1,900 a month. It's a new landlord. Building was sold. We've been speaking with the landlord. We've been speaking to the tenant. We're negotiating a new rent. We've been trying to get a hold of this attorney for the landlord for the last, I'll say 2 to 3 weeks. And he is kind of not getting back to us. So for this month, I would ask that you take no action and we'll see if we can push him really hard to see what we can do to get rid of this case next month for everybody. I think we have a chance. Can't promise it, but there's a good chance.
Motion to take no action at this time.
Second.
Is that Lenise?
Yes.
Okay. It has been moved by Sonia Oliver and seconded by Lenise, that Constant to take no action on this case. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, no action taken on that. So that concludes our old cases and our new cases.
Once again, Russell Liskov, we're here. We have one new case. It is called 1840-24. It is for 23 1-2 Boughton Street, Apartment 1. The landlord wants to have an increase from $1,350 a month to $1,600 a month. We opened the file the complaint was filed in January 17th of 24. We sent out the letters. The landlord came in to talk to Carlos in person about it. I spoke to the landlord. The tenant came into the office to try and mediate. The landlord called to let know that they're going to switch some refrigerators. We're negotiating. So I think that there's a 50-50 shot we can resolve this matter during the month of February as well. So I recommend that we vote to hear the case because it clearly falls under what this commission is designed for, a rent increase and a complaint about that rent increase.
Motion to hear the case.
A second.
Second from Lenise.
Okay, it's been moved by Sonia Oliver and seconded by Lenise Constant to hear the case 1840-24. All in favor?
Aye.
That'll be no.
I want to ask a question before. You said
Okay.
tenant came in to mediate?
Yeah, the tenant came in and spoke to Carlos, and Carlos had a good talk with the tenant and what the tenant wanted, and you convey that to the landlord and see if you can move people to the middle somehow, to something that's reasonable that everyone can be happy with.
And so what happened? The landlord called to let me know he offered to switch their refrigerator because their current refrigerator is old and the tenant just declined.
So yes,
what
the
was-
landlord came in. He said he offered to switch the refrigerator because it came out of another unit. And she said she didn't need to because her old refrigerator was working just fine.
Shut. The mediation part. What did Carlos, what are they saying? I mean, if they came in to mediate, what was the mediation about?
So as you're
Well-
aware, So as you're aware, I'm not at liberty to discuss amounts. So we're working back and forth to try to find a middle ground.
Right, it's a get to know you session. This matter isn't even a month old. So it's really the
Oh, yeah,
first,
but I'm saying to mediate, so you in there mediating the amount of money that they want to pay? Is that what the mediation was about?
Any repairs that need to be made, any rental amounts.
And if we're going to hear the case, there are certain factors about the case we shouldn't
Right.
have at this time.
I do understand that, but I'm not understanding about the tenant came into the office to mediate.
Well, I don't, maybe mediate wasn't the correct choice of words.
Okay,
He came in and met with he met with the tenant and he has met with the landlord. They're still trying to negotiate, but we may end up having to hear the case.
right, they came
Yeah,
in to
the tenant
discuss
came
it,
in for mediation.
right, they came in to
I'm
discuss their
not
situation.
understanding that. Okay, I'm really not understanding the tenant coming in to mediate, and we're now gonna do the a hearing. You know, I'm not, and because the tenant declined the old refrigerator, now we're gonna hear the case, which does not make sense to me.
Well, that's what I said. Maybe mediate is not the correct word to use there because it's not so much mediation if we're still being recommended to hear the case. It's more they came in to try to resolve the issue, try to talk, which does mean mediate, but
Right.
I see where it's throwing Brenda off.
Yeah, so the tenant came in to provide additional details and discuss.
There you go.
Further.
Right.
There
Yeah.
you
And
go.
for future reference, I'll avoid that word.
Okay. I think that'll work.
I don't want you to think I'm grilling you, Carlos.
No,
She
because
grill
I'm not.
everybody, Carlos. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
right.
it.
I just want to understand what's going on. That's all.
If
Okay.
it's confusing,
Just leave a medium rare.
if it gets confusing for you, it might be confusing for someone else. So that's totally
Exactly.
fine.
Okay. So we're going to change that wording from mediate to came in to discuss.
Yes.
Right. Provide additional information.
Okay, well, our motion still is that
To hear the case.
to hear the case, and it has been motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Okay, the ayes have it. We will hear the case.
Great. Thank you for listening to me and taking the time to understand what's going on here. Appreciate it. I will tell you, Carlos is very, very busy and he doesn't like to turn anybody away. And he does have a very good heart trying to assist people. And he's got to be careful not to go down the rabbit hole.
Right. And I agree with you, Russ, because when people trust you, that's what they will do. They will keep
Yep.
you as a resource. I understand it wholeheartedly. I do. I understand that. But then
Yep,
we
we
got to help him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, for them to find someone else, you know, because that's keeping him from doing what he needs to do. But I do understand folks do that to me. So I
All
know.
the time.
Uh-huh.
I sent them to you.
Yeah, so I do. So I understand that. And
I
oh
love
my
you.
God,
I
that's
love you
sissy.
guys. You go.
Oh,
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Russell. Okay, our next item is old business. Is there any old business? I don't know of any. Everything seems to be up to date. And our new business, I had a call. Is the person present,
Yes,
Carlos?
yes.
Okay. I had a call from Carlos. There is a client that we served who we finalized the case and he was satisfied at the time. And it's 6 months to the end of that agreement. And he wants to share with us some of his insights on our process for receiving and working complaints, especially as it pertains to him. Is he hearing us?
Yes, he is
Carlos.
currently, yes, he is currently
what is his-
online.
What is
Before,
his name?
Jonathan Herman. Before I let him speak, I just want to let the commissioners know that he would have 3 minutes to speak, and he will address the commission, but it is not up for discussion. So we're going to listen to what he has to say, and that's it. There will be no discussions afterwards.
Okay, now I just want to say this. I want to go over our process, that the Fair Rent Commission is empowered to mediate between renters and landlords. We receive complaints about unfairness and it's filed with the coordinator. The complaint is investigated. Findings are brought to us by the staff and with their recommendations. We rule whether to hear the case or wait for more information or no action taken while negotiations are ongoing by the staff. After an agreement is reached between the parties, a formal withdrawal of complaint is received. And at that point, the commission votes to close the case. Now, this is a rare case, and it's been all the time that I've been a commissioner. We've never had a client to come back and share with us their thoughts about our process. And it is my understanding that Mr. Herman has comments that are meant to be beneficial to the commission in advocacy for fairness and mediation. These are his insights, and it is informational only, and he has 3 minutes with which to give us his thoughts.
All right, thanks for clearing that up, because I was surely gonna ask, was this a new practice? Because we don't usually communicate with the tenants.
Well, this case is closed. He just
Right,
wants to
but we
share-
just never,
Yeah.
I
it's
believe
never
this-
been done.
I believe this
it's never
came as a
been
I believe this came as a recommendation from Mr. Daniels.
So
So
the
that's,
case is closed.
Well, Mr.
As you're
Daniels is so
aware,
busy with his campaign, I mean, I'm just messing.
he's not running. He withdrew.
Yeah, he withdrew. They all need to withdraw. This is crazy. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring this man on.
1 second, I'm going to just say that as per our agenda at the beginning, it says members of the public can attend, listen, and comment during public participation. So he does have, as per Lamont Daniels, he has the right to make a public comment, and we will give him 3 minutes for that. Okay, Jonathan Herman, you are allowed to talk.
Hello, just making sure people can hear me. I wanted
Yes,
to thank the commission for your work with some of the most difficult and stressful issues Norwalk residents face. As you saw earlier, with over 425 cases last year, it's a tall order that is much appreciated. Unfortunately, the housing shortage has permeated into the ever-expanding rental market in the city. Last summer, I brought what I deemed was an unfair rent increase to the commission. My case was 1827-23. While I'd love to go back in time, I cannot. I'm here to apprise the commission about concerns I have and how the commission can possibly extend their education and advocacy in the future, especially as the state legislature and Connecticut tenants units push for stronger tenant protections at the state level. Unfortunately, this public comment comes from a place of frustration, but I'm optimistic that change can happen. Roughly 3 months into a newly negotiated 6-month lease, I received a notice not to renew lease from the property manager 4 days before Christmas without any ability to negotiate a new lease, and it was coupled with the threat of eviction if we did not vacate by February 29th. As a newly minted father in September, my main goal is to raise my family in the city and to teach my daughter to be kind and treat others fairly. When I brought these concerns to the FRC, they were able to negotiate a lease length and amount of time. What I did not realize that my property manager crossed off certain items in the lease, i.e. this lease will automatically renew, which other tenants I found out in the same complex who negotiated but not use FRC still had in their lease agreements. Furthermore, since November 12th, I've had nearly 6 work orders actively open, waiting for a pair. I received a varying array of excuses as to why they've not yet been completed. It was not until the health department cited the issues that within 48 hours, anything was done. What I'd like to see happen with the FRC is more education on state laws and advocacy for those who bring their cases to this commission. I believe I asked what would happen if they retaliated against me for using the commission. I was told that retaliation was not acceptable. Yet, according to Connecticut general statutes, this unscrupulous action by the property management is not deemed retaliation by state law because those individuals who bring cases to the FRC should be given information on what exactly constitutes Section 47A 23C, prohibition on eviction of certain tenants except for good cause. It means basically you have to be a certain age and have to have either a mental or physical disability. Further, they should be given information on exactly what constitutes Section 47A-20 retaliatory action by landlords, which means the decrease of services to which a tenant has been entitled within 6 months after the tenant has in good faith requested the landlord to make repairs. And lastly, Section 7-148D, order for limitation on amount of rent, suspension of rent, cease and desist orders for retaliatory actions. I would argue that if the commission did determine certain things, the landlord has retaliated, and it's unfortunate that good cause does not need to be brought here, even though I've done everything I'm supposed to. I paid my rent each month for nearly 9 years on time. I've never had a written complaint against me. New property management company came in before the latest rent negotiation, and they decided to jack up the rent, not do any of the services. And I wish I was educated more and had more of ability to understand the ramifications. I was scared to use the FRC to begin with, and now I understand why I was scared.
30
And
seconds.
it's unfortunate, but I thank everybody for the commission and the work they've done, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Herman, for those comments. We will take it as information to do more advocacy in a more efficient manner. All right. The next item on our agenda is a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, second.
Before we adjourn, Carlos, I tried to help Sissy get in. I called the numbers myself and they did not work. They did not work. I gave her another number with the password. It did not work. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
so
she
I'm just
came in
letting you know,
today.
I don't know what was going on, but those numbers did not work. So therefore she missed it. And I've been trying to help her get in and they did not work.
Yeah, she came in today and Jasmine helped her out and I don't know what happened. I mean, she's gonna have to come back in and we'll test it out again.
No, but I'm just talking about the call-in numbers wouldn't work.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I texted
I
one,
saw
two.
him, and I didn't even hear what the guy was saying. I didn't hear none of his testimony because I was trying to help her get in. I tried most of those numbers and they did not work with the passcode. They kept saying that that's the incorrect passcode. And I tried a lot of those numbers and it did not work. So I'm just letting you be aware of it.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna test it out. Okay.
Now with that gentleman coming in, what are we supposed to take that in advisement? What was that purpose of doing that?
The purpose of that is that the public can make comments, and he requested to make comments from his perspective of what happened after his case was completed. And it's just information for us. We are not there's nothing for us to do to respond to it. I believe, if I'm not wrong, correct me, other commissioners, that if there is a reason to believe that there's retaliation to someone who has filed a complaint with the Fair Rent Commission, they can file another complaint about retaliation
Correct.
on that same case.
Correct.
And it's within the time limit of that agreement. So, it's a timely thing if he wants to file a complaint. Other commissioners, Brenda,
No, you're correct. That is my understanding, is that if there is retaliation, then the tenant has the right to file a follow-up case of retaliation. We've actually had some
Yes, we've,
that have
we've
come
had
back to
quite a
us.
mhm.
Yes. So I didn't really understand anyway, I made the motion to adjourn.
I need a second on it.
That is not nice, Mrs. Oliver.
You come on late and then you want to get off early just because you made the
Right,
motion and
right,
nobody
Tony,
seconded
that is not nice.
Oh, Sonia, I miss you, baby. All right. So I'm so sorry that Sissy couldn't get on tonight.
I'm
I
sorry too,
know, I'm
'cause
glad
I
to see
kept, well,
everybody.
you know what, I should have just had my phone to the thing. But
Like,
I was trying,
Yeah.
I don't know
But-
why I didn't do that, but I was trying to help her. I sent her different numbers. I tried myself and they would not work.
That is so frustrating. I had a situation not in with the fair rent. The same thing happened. I kept dialing the numbers that they gave me and said it wouldn't work. You got the wrong thing. Try another number, do this. Anyway, I need a second on that motion.
Look, y'all can stay
Hello?
here all night if y'all want
No,
to.
maybe we don't want to leave.
Oh, yeah, y'all
Stay
wanna
here
leave,
all
all
night
right.
if y'all want to.
Y'all want to leave, all right.
Okay, Sissy said she's gonna second. Sissy, go ahead and second the motion. Go ahead and just second the motion, Sissy. That's all you gotta do. Okay,
So Johnny Weldon seconds a motion to adjourn.
okay,
The
bye.
meeting is adjourned at 8:28.
Okay, nice
Thank
seeing you
you.
guys.
Good night. Good to
Happy
see
New Year,
everybody.
too. Okay.
Thank you. Be well.
Bye.
Be
Bye-bye.
well. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Carlos.
Will do, friend.
Okay.
Actually,
Bye-bye.
Brian, I'm sorry.
Thanks, everybody, for coming on.
Bye.
Brian, I'm gonna call you on your cell phone,
Okay.
okay? Have a good night, everyone.
All right.